There are two kinds of people in the world, probably more, but for the sake of this, there are two kinds of people in the world. Those who love horror films and can't get enough of them, and those who hate them and don't ever want to see them and don't know what you're talking about when you talk about them. Which one would you say you are?
I'm the one who doesn't understand it.
I don't like it either.
All right, for the sake of this discussion, we should also acknowledge that there are idiots out there who think that it's a good idea to just put themselves in a position where they fear for their lives.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to explain exactly what it means about you if you do or don't like horror films. I mean, there are people who just can't get enough of them and want to see every single one and love the gore and the gross stuff and the things you've never dreamed of happening. It means something about you if you don't love it, though, and that one of which might be you get less pleasure out of intense emotions. So there's this psychological term called need for effect, which measures the level of intensity at which people feel things. And it's not necessarily a good feeling like happiness or a bad feeling like sorrow. It's the intensity within there. So people high in need for effect, quote, defer in the amount of desire for feeling emotions, says psychologist Stuart Weiss, who is the author of Believing in Magic, The Psychology of Superstition. He says they find the expression of emotion, even if it's sadness, to be a pleasant experience.
I hate these people.
I mean...
They're anti-Buddhists.
I think these are people who love drama.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just like, what? I like the idea that, like, you know what's an emotion? It's just a feeling. And that's a feeling of needing to pee yourself because you're afraid someone's gonna kill you, and you go for that.
And then you pay someone to pretend they're gonna kill you in a haunted house.
Right, wouldn't you rather just wanna feel the good emotions?
Wouldn't you rather have a nice massage?
Yes.
Or watch a comedy movie? I would.
I don't understand it. Is there a horror movie that you do like?
I'd have to think about that.
Like, I watched Alien.
Is that a horror movie?
That's what it's classified as on the HBO Go.
I like Alien and I like Aliens.
So I would say
so maybe I like sci-fi.
The sci-fi thriller is different from the like, oh, we're just gonna show you someone's intestines.
I've never seen Saw. I don't want to.
Don't need it. Actually, I did see Saw 5 gets to be pretty funny, but it's still too much.
I don't believe in ghosts, so I don't watch those movies.
I will say that I had to do a lot of movie reviews and watch the Saw movies. And so as a result, I had to find out all the ways people in Saw died, and we wrote a song about it. And it was like, beaten, stabbed, shot with a gun, shot with a slightly smaller gun, beaten with a toilet seat, then left to rot for eternity.
A head thing that just impales
killed
your
by
head.
A helmet made of spikes, shot, burned, killed with a knife, box of razors and a hacksaw blade, then left to rot for eternity. A lot of people get left to rot for eternity in Saw movies.
Good God.
But shotgun carousel, shotgun carousel, shotgun carousel.
I don't know what that is, and I don't care to know.
But just one thing really quickly is there are movies that are horror movies that are also actually pretty funny somehow.
Okay.
When you're rooting for the murderer.
Maybe if it's like another genre in there, like sci-fi, I'm into.
But not the ones that are just like, I'm gonna show you zombies eating people because it's scary and gross. Okay,
yeah, I could see liking some, double genre movies, and one of them is horror. So what backs that up is a 2010 study in the journal Communication Research found that people who have strong need for effect tend to be the same people who love horror. And that is because people with need for effect also experienced higher levels of negative and ambivalent emotions and evaluated their emotions more positively on the level of meta-emotions, meaning the worse they felt, the better they felt. That is according to that journal. But here is something that you were saying. People who don't like horror movies don't thrive on stress. So psychologically, excitement and fear are pretty similar, right? You have a high heart rate, your adrenaline gets pumping, you have a similar feeling of heightened alertness or paranoia or whatever you want to call it. And those sensations could translate into a positive experience or a negative one, depending on our own interpretations. I would interpret them as negative personally. I don't love it, but you might also feel invigorated. You might feel full of life and and just psyched to not be the one in that horrible shotgun carousel. It's a lot. The people who, this is not surprising, people who love scary movies tend to be thrill seekers in general. They tend to be what is called in psychology sensation seekers. Anything, even if it's bad, I want it because I need to feel alive.
Like, I love roller coasters. I don't.
So.
I like that. I just think that some of these things are so stupid to be chasing down that fear.
Yeah, well, some people love it, and that is how they interpret these emotions and sensations. I am not one of them. You are not one of them, but there are definitely people out there who have that. Also, if you have a stressful experience, you can interpret it as a positive one if you want to. That is it for this episode of Nerd Alert. I hope I didn't scare you too much, but if you love it, I hope we did. Bye-bye. You loved the video. You will subscribe. You thought I was cool and charming.